Hello everyone. I'm recording this over again because I don't have enough space on my iPhone, which is very unfortunate. I have tried to free it up, but not successful at all. So I'm starting this over again, and we are going to be making the cover today. So I have my board. I have changed my board from this mount board that I said I was going to use purely because it's like a centimetre too narrow. So I have resorted to the back of one of the pads that I use for drawing, which is fine. And yeah, we're going to do the measurement now. We have a look at my first one that I made. So this one I thought was pretty successful, but the mistake that I made was I measured too much at the back here. So this does not need to be a whole centimetre. What happens is when I open it, it kind of clashes, and although it does open flat on the inside, it does sort of clash at the back there. So we're going to make that slightly narrower. So we're going to measure with our ruler. We're going to measure across. Let me just get all of this stuff out of the way, although we do need it all. So we're going to measure across our leaves, and I've got 21.5. So if I put down 21.5 here, and I want another 5 mil on either side of that, so that's obviously another centimetre, that's 22.5. So let's make this one 23 across. We can put those couple of millimetres into the width of the actual cover itself. If I measure this way, I've got 30, exactly on the dot. So we're in 30, and we're going to add another 5 mils top and bottom. In fact, no, 5 mils is a bit much. Let's add 6 mils in total. So we're going to do 30.6 because we don't want it to be clumsy or awkward. So this is where I got to. I measured out 23 by 2 on my board and started cutting it, then realized that nothing was really recording, much to my horror. And what I want to say to you is that when you score this with your craft knife, don't go in as hard as you can. Just score it, literally score it, so that it doesn't move the ruler or doesn't let the paper move your craft knife, because that does sometimes happen, and you can end up with a skew, completely skew cut. So just score it, and then you can go in a little bit heavier. And obviously you need to be cutting this on a healing mat, which is what I'm using. So there I have my 2 pieces of cover. I can get rid of this. We don't need that. So it's not quite as thick as what I would like, but it's okay. It's not a train smash. So let's put it on top. We should have an overlay, which is what we do have. So you can see we've got an overlay here, we have an overlay there, the bottom part, and the other side where it opens. So this might be a bit too wide, measuring it the way that I have, 23. So I'm actually going to take off 5 millimeters because we don't need all of that. So 5 I think is enough to take off. I'm going to trim them both down, 5. That is across. And my healing mat, and yours should also have exactly the same measurement marks on it. So I've got little dots on my healing mat, which is a 0.5, and that's what I'm going to use so that I can get it straight instead of measuring it with a pencil. And again, we score it. We just score it, and then we can go in with a bit more pressure to knock that off. Let me measure this one as well. So the reason for my trimming this off is because we don't want it clumsy or overlapping as much as my first one did. That was a mistake. And then when you open it, they knock each other at the back and you can't open it as flat as you would like to. There we go. Okay, now we're going, now the scoring is the part that is important, because now we need to, not score this, sorry, we need to put holes in it to sew this onto the back of there. I just want to trim this off. You can trim this off in the same way because you have glued it, just to neaten it up. So now make sure that you are equal amounts top and bottom. On the side, you just want to be over by a couple of millimeters. This is the difficult part because you're measuring it on the back side. So let's measure it like that. Make sure that we have equal millimeters top and bottom. You can generally do this by eye because it's not that crucial. Draw a line down it and then marry up the other one the exact same amount. So you just want to make sure that they are lined up. There we go. And there we go. So this gives us our line where we are going to be putting our holes in, just to sew this onto the actual. Where is that mark? It doesn't really help me much, does it? There we go. Okay, so we have those lined up, and now we need to make the holes. So that's our neat, beautiful sewing that we've done. I'm hoping you can see it. I realise that I did it in white, but I do prefer the white to a colour. And we then obviously need to sew this onto that. So we're going to make holes in the cover. And these were 2, 1.5 and then 2, 2, 2. So I am going to, and this, remember that this is slightly wider, so you need to put your marker from where you marked your leaves, exact same millimeters away from the edge on either side. So that's our first hole. We want that one. And I think to make it a bit more secure, we're going to do the exact same number of holes, because I didn't do it on that first one and it was a bit flimsy. It did start coming apart. I'm going to do the same thing here. So obviously if you're going to put masking tape on it first, you would, if you're going to put masking tape on it, it does make it a little bit more secure. You would do that first and then mark out these holes. Now we're going to push this through very, very carefully. Don't stab your finger. And we're going to push that through each of those marks, and that should line up with your inner sketchbook. And what we can do is we can put masking tape either side of this if you like. It's entirely up to you. I think I'm going to leave mine free, but you would literally take the masking tape, pull it, and basically put it on and then fold it over onto the other side, if you so wish. Okay, so it doesn't really matter if you have this pencil mark on the outside, because you can rub it off. So now we're going to line this up. So remember, your inner needs to line up with those holes, because that's how we've done it. And now we're going to start the sewing process of putting it together. So basically it's a knot. We're going to knot it through here, and then we're going to take it through there. You can see that mine are much wider apart. That's why I've made it so much closer together, because this book literally has fallen apart, although it has done really well considering. So let's measure out the twine. We just need one length for here, because we've only got basically one page that we are putting together. I'm going to do quite a bit more, purely because I want to be able to tie it together properly and not have any funny things happening. Let me get this off of here. So we're going to put this through in exactly the same way as we did when we sewed the leaves together. Remember how we did it? Put it through the needle, and then we put it through the middle of the thread and pull it up like that, so that you have got it secure on the needle. You can see how waxed this is. It's actually coming off on my hand. Now, this is the part where we need to sort of think about how we are going to start, because we want it to be in a place where we can actually tie it. So I'm going to take it through. Just thinking, we are going to connect it to here a couple of times. Come on. Actually, let me start the other way. Let me start this side. So let's push it through. Let's push it through like that. And let's take it through here. Okay. Let's push it through here first. Leave a tail. Push it through the hole. Secure it onto there. Let's push it through the next hole. So now we're going to join it through here. And this is tricky, guys. This is not an easy task at all, but it will be so worth it when you have finished. Sorry. Okay. So we've got it through there, but now I'm just thinking. So we can do that at the end. So I have not put it through that first hole there, which is a mistake. I'm going to do it at the end. So we're going to take it through here. So we have our first just trying to free up this tail here. There we go. Right. So now we have our first sewing, and now we're going to take it back through and back under to secure it just at the both ends. Okay, back through, got it. Pull this tail through. Let's secure it. Okay, so that's the start of it. So now we're going to go back through that side, and we go through here, and this is where we need to make sure that we get it in under and pull it through. Just thinking perhaps we need a pair of tweezers to be able to do this. I don't know why this one seems to be more difficult than the other one. I think I'm going to push it slightly forward. See if we can hook it. Okay. Okay, so we've got it through there. So we're going to take it through the middle of the book. Secure it. And then we're going to take it back through where we have stitched through the other side, through the opposite hole, through here. We're going to do exactly the same thing again, so that this really does secure the cover back through the middle of the book. Pull it tight, back through the other way. I'm trying to do it in a way that you can see what I'm doing, but I'm pretty sure that you have got it by now. Push it through. Oops, a daisy. There we go. Push it through. So now we've got it nice and secure around there, and we go through this hole opposite that one. So you're not missing out any of the holes that you've made. And now we take it through here. And we are going to take it through the middle of the book again. So basically what we're doing is with each hole we're securing it through twice to the back. Back through there, secure it, through that side, through this side, back through the middle of the book again, through the stitching, the other side, through that hole that's opposite the one at the back. There we go. Secure it, back through the middle of the book, back through to the other side, through the hole opposite. We will tighten all of this when we have got to the end of it, and we'll tie the tails in place back through there, back through the middle of the book again. Through your stitching, back out, through the opposite hole to the next one, through the middle of the book. Sound like a broken record, but this is exactly what we are doing. Back through that side again, out, through the opposite hole, the hole next to it, then we're going back through the middle of the book again, back out. So in the middle of your stitching, back out the other way, secure it. Then we're going into that opposite hole, secure it, through to this hole, back through the middle of the book, through that stitching, back through that hole, through the next hole, back through the middle of the stitching, around your stitching, back out, through that hole, through this hole. Now this is where we need to try and get around that. Do you remember this is where we secured it? So we just need to do a couple of knots around there, go back through there, and then bring it back through here again, the other side. Right, now this is where we're going to start securing and pulling the thread so that we have a nice secure book. So I just want to make quite sure we pull everything nice and tight, exactly like we did when we were putting the sleeves together. Just want to make sure that it's nice and secure. There we go. This side here, whoops, pull it through there. Can get it back through here again. Just don't want to stab myself. Back through there. Okay. So now we have the two tails at either end. And we need to somehow secure these so that they don't come apart. We're just going to go back around again as best as we can to knot it. Let's try and get your needle in there. Ooh, this is just a tad short, so I'm going to see if I can pull some more through. There's always a little bit that can come through. There we go. Now that needle should go through again. There we go. Oh, pricked myself. I've actually pulled it through the sleeve of the page, which was not a bad idea. So it's come through here. Not quite what I wanted. But we can secure it inside that sleeve. This one, we can glue that, tie that. But there we have our book, our sketchbook with a cover. Very, very simplistic, but extremely effective all the same. I'm just going to cut this off. And this one we have already knotted on the inside of there, and we're just going to put a tad of glue on either end, and then we are done. That is our beautiful sketchbook. Just getting my glue out. Just secure it on the end there. Try not to get it onto the actual pages itself. Just securing it on the inside, exactly like we did before with the glue on the actual string itself. So that you're going to need to leave to dry, but that is basically what your sketchbook should look like. Neat, tidy, and really ready for whatever it is that you want to put onto the cover. This I can cut a bit shorter. I'm not going to cut the entire thing off. I don't mind if there's a bit of a string inside there. That one can be cut slightly shorter. There we go. And that is a very, very simply made, beautiful little sketchbook that you can show to everybody, and obviously for yourself, for your work. It's all in one place, and you can be extremely proud of what you have achieved. I have extra, as I said, I made some more sleeves because I wanted a bit more in my sketchbook than what I had done. And that is your sketchbook. Well done, everybody. What an amazing feat.